Let me fix myself. I'm a little short. I'm short. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed my intro to this video because, my Lord, it took me like 4 hours to do that because I'm still trying to learn this program that I'm using. So, I about went nuts. So I decided I'd rattle a little bit. So if you watched my intro, you saw a few things, few of my ideas, and put a few scriptures in there about what I believe Satan is. Satan has been believed by all nations in different forms or another. They call him different names. You can look at Wikipedia and check it out yourself. But what I wanted to focus on most now, after I showed you this intro, is how he is the father of lies. The Bible even says he's the father of lies. That means he birthed lies. He is the first liar and deceiver. And the first thing he did when he went into the garden and portrayed himself as a serpent, he told Eve, did God say? See, he always used what God said, but would put a twist on it. Now, I want you to think about today, as I'm telling you some of these things I'm fixing to tell you, and see if you can't see how he's manipulating mankind right now. Satan was kicked out of heaven because he wanted power and control. He still promises men and women today power and control. I'm the shrinking woman. Well, anyway, he uses part truths, promises people great things, and doesn't deliver. If you ever meet a real big liar, they've been hanging around with old slewfoot Satan, the devil. One thing I want to add in here is Satan doesn't look like a red man with a forked tail and horns. He is represented as the goat. He is represented as part goat, part man. He's represented in many different ways, as a bull, as a red dragon in Revelations, a serpent in the Garden of Eden. But he is most good at appearing to be good and twisting things to make you believe his lies, because he's got one agenda down here on this earth, and that is to destroy you. When he's talked to Eve in the garden, he said, did God really say you'd die if you ate off of that tree? He took a little bit of truth, twisted it around. No, they didn't die physically. That's not what God meant anyway. But they did die spiritually. They died to where they didn't have a relationship with God like they did before. Adam, before the fall, walked with God every evening in the garden in the cool of the day. So hello, lost a bunch of privileges because of disobedience. So Satan's still down here trying to get people to discredit what God said. Did God really say? Twist, twist, twist. Well, I'm not sure the Bible really says this. Twist, twist. Did he really mean that? Because mankind wants to make room for their wicked lives. We all sin. We have all done sin. We have all done things. I got bit by a bee yesterday and said a cuss word. I left it out of my video because I didn't want to offend any younger ones that might be watching. But it's in our nature to do things wrong, even when we try to do good. So if Satan can get you to believe his lies that he puts in your mind, he's got you. I want to tell a story about a young man. When my youngest son was young and a teenager, well, no, he's in his young 20s, he got in a real popular band in this area. And one of the band, the ones that play the guitar in the band, was his good friend. And he began to tell me about a dream he had had and what happened. He said Satan came to him in a dream. He was in his room playing the guitar. This young, good-looking guy in a suit walks in his room. And he says, well, you play really good. Can I play it? And so he handed him the instrument. And this guy in the suit started playing this guitar like nobody else had ever done, he'd ever heard. And he was just dumbfounded. Wow, you play good. And he goes, would you like to play like that? I can make you play like that. I can make you famous. And then he pulls this paper out of his pocket and said, all you have to do is read this and sign it. I'll be back in a couple of weeks or so, and I'll find out what your answer is. So the dude left. And then my son's friend woke up and he goes, wow, that was so real. That's weird. But anyway, oh, I forgot. But before the dream ended, he opened the paper after the guy left, and it was signing his soul over to Satan, to the devil. All he had to sign was his name on that dotted line. He would be famous. He would play like that guy did and be known by everybody. Well, in a couple of weeks or so, he had another dream. Sure enough, here comes this guy into his room. The same guy, dressed the same way, grinning from ear to ear and says, hey, did you make up your mind and sign on the dotted line? He goes, I'm sorry. I can't sign that dotted line. God's got my soul. I'm not signing. And he said immediately that handsome suit-dressed man turned into the most hideous, monstrous creature he'd ever seen and was snarling at him and calling him stupid and all kinds of horrible names, cussing at him because he'd telling him how ignorant he was for not signing that paper, and left. Since then, I have read and I have heard about other musicians that have been approached in like manner in their dreams, and some of them did sell their soul to Satan. It's even documented that some of these musicians have said they sold their soul to Satan. They were approached by Satan. Satan gave them this promise, and he carried through with it. But how many of you know these musicians turn into drug addicts, alcoholics, die young from untimely accidents and incidents, or they kill themselves? Nobody can handle knowing or thinking they sold their soul to the devil. Let me tell you this, Satan has no authority to keep your soul if you reach out to Jesus. That's that. Because he defeated Satan when he hung on the cross and shed all of his blood and died and then rose again to set men free from that old wicked dude. Okay? Now, the other thing Satan does is he looks for leaders that are easily manipulated, and he can twist them and cause them to try to do his plan. If you know anything about the Illuminati and Soros and all those, check it out. They're all sold out to Satan and his wicked schemes and plans. Satan always uses sex. My spiritual mom said he has no new tactics. He always uses the same things. It's the 3 G's: glory, gold, or girls or guys, depending on if you're male or female and what you're attracted to. So he uses sex. He uses desiring to be popular or to be a somebody to have money and to have money. That's what he uses. And that's what gets men and women every time to listen to his plans. Every time you have been deceived, it had something to do with Satan in the mix. That's just the way it is. When he came to me when I was on my drugs, I was seeing all these spiritual things, thinking it was real people because that's what he was telling me. And it was spiritual. And when I opened the Bible finally and found God, the first thing I read was, you're wrestling not against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers and rulers of darkness in high places. Hey, he's still doing the same thing today, but God came to set the record straight if we'd listen to him. I know I've got a lot of followers that don't believe like that. So you can just take this or leave it. I'm just warning you, one day you may come in contact with this liar, the devil. He may come as a boyfriend or a girlfriend. He may come as a boss. He may come as a burglar to your house. He may come as a dog that attacks you. He may come as somebody that runs a red light. He may come as a drunk driver hitting you. You don't know. But he's got all kinds of tactics. And the other thing is, where are all the rest of those fallen angels that didn't get enchained because they had sex with women? You know, there was angels that had sex with women back before Noah and the ark and after. But what caused them to get in prison was that they started mingling their DNA. Now we're finding out, and I'm going to put some stuff in here, some newspaper article headlines about ticks being manipulated by the military or the UN or the Pentagon, to make super ticks that have diseases to kill off the human race. And now we're finding out the pharmaceuticals companies have been doing things like that too. And then we're finding out about all this other stuff, this chemical warfare and all these things that they're inventing and wanting to use on people. And we're finding out there's been an agenda all along to wipe out a bunch of us through our inoculations, through our childhood shots. This is not good, okay? But it's all in Satan's plan to destroy the race that God put down here, a human race, a pure race, undivided in their bloodstream, all human. And now we're even finding out that these mixtures are in the animals, in the fish, and in people. And it's happening. These people that are turning themselves over to Satan are turning into demonic entities that aren't even human anymore. Have you seen people lately with no compassion, no love? They could kill you in a minute. They hate you just because you believe one way that they don't. There's people now that they say you don't deserve a free will. That's the way Satan is. He wants to make you do what he wants you to do because his agenda is to cause everybody that doesn't want to follow him to be destroyed, and only those that will be easily persuaded and manipulated in their minds, wills, and emotions that hate God, don't want to serve him, love sin, so he can have his end-time army. But there's an end to this. If you believe that there is a creator and a son, his son, who was the victor, he's coming back one day and going to set things right. Whose side are you on? You know, Satan, he's here for a purpose because he found out God's going to give us exactly what he wanted. See, God said he was going to make many sons and daughters through Jesus Christ. Jesus was the first of many sons and daughters. And so here we are. If we serve him, we're going to reign with him in heaven forever. You may not believe there's a hell. You may not believe there's a heaven. You may just believe you're just going to be a vapor floating in the atmosphere after you die. But that's not what it says. That's not how it goes. Scientists are even believing now and understanding that when someone dies, they lose an amount of weight they cannot account for. It's not breath. It's not fluids. It is something leaves their body. It's because all of us has a soul that lives on after we die. So anyway, I'm just telling you, that's the spookiest thing I could ever tell you. Is that Satan's real and he wants to kill you. And he's going to do whatever he can to do it. Do you have protection? Jesus Christ is your answer. I'm telling you. But you got to find that out yourself. It's in the Word of God. Okay. Now, so I'm going to put some articles at the end of this so you can look and think, wow, is this really happening right now? You know, are these things really, maybe she's right. You know, if you think I'm right, then you're going to, if you're not, you're going to turn your life over to God. But if you don't think I am, you can go on your merry way and take a chance and play Russian roulette. Spin that revolver with one bullet in it and hold it to your head and hope it doesn't go off. But that's up to you. I pray you find him because I was dead. I hated life. I was dead inside. I was dead inside until he came and pulled me out of my ash heap. And I happen to know he's real because he loved me when I was unlovable, okay? Do you need love, real love? Are you tired of getting screwed over? We're always going to get screwed over, but do you know who to run to? Whose lap to jump in? Who to talk to? Who to pray to? Do you know anybody like that? Well, I do. And he loves you. Okay, and let me know what you think. Good or bad, that's fine. I know I'll probably offend somebody because we're living in this offensive time, aren't we? It's because things are ramping up. Good and evil's clashing, and that's the war. Okay? It's not between Democrats, Republicans, homosexuals, straight people, blacks or whites or whatever. It's against good and evil now. Just using these things to get your attention off what's really going on. Think about it. What's really going on, it's a big war to divide you, destroy you, and take you down. And I mean literally down. All right, God bless, and I hope you like this. And if you don't, I'm sorry. You don't have to like it. I'm not here for everybody, and I'm not here to make money off this. If that happens, great. But I'm not here to make money. I'm here just to share what I know, because I found some truths that are real. And you can take them or leave them, but I hope you take them. I hope. Because I don't want anybody to miss heaven. It's going to be an amazing place. I'm going to talk about that soon too, because that's a happy subject. And did you know that our animals, when they die, they go on to eternity and wait on us? It's true. If you've heard animals when they die, they just die, that's not true. Why would God make all these beautiful animals just throw them away like yesterday's Play-Doh that's a little tough and old, you know? Okay. God bless. Have a good weekend. And I'll talk to you soon, especially if I have any more Bigfoot things happen. But anyway, all right. Bye-bye.
Così